American Renaissance, June. You said you never said ugly Mexicans and ugly Haitians come here to live permanently.
Maybe
here's the article, American Renaissance. If we do nothing, the nation we are building is one in which we would not wish to live. Jared Taylor, ugly Mexican, ugly Haitians. You said that sounds like something you wouldn't say. You did say it. You wrote it, and you published it. By the way, in chemistry, Professor Maria Molina is a Mexican. In physics, Luis Alvarez, Spanish-American, 1968. Dr. Severa Ochoa, a Spanish-American in medicine, 1958. Literature, shall I go on? Octavio Paz, Jose Sila, Gabriel Marquez, Vicente Alexandre, Pablo Neruda, Juan Ramon Jimenez, Gabriela Mistral. You did say I couldn't name one.
These are not Americans. They're from Latin America. They're Latin American. They're not American. They're not United States citizens.
And so, therefore, that put... why wouldn't you want them at your cocktail party where all these wonderful, good-looking people are?
I bet you.
Regardless of whether they're or not they're Americans.
I bet you the huge
I wish
majority.
they were. I wonder if their people, if their families would have been allowed in if you were in charge of immigration.
I would bet you, believe it or not, that the huge majority of them are also white, my friend. Probably pure Castilian Spanish.
The gentleman had a question, sir.
Mr. Taylor, good evening. As an American, I respect your right to have your beliefs, but there's one thing that's just totally baffling to me. Didn't white people get here because of immigration? There was a little place down the road here called Ellis Island that let in Italians, Germans, Irish.
Bring me your tired, you're poor.
Today if it wasn't for immigration. And I noticed, and furthermore, I noticed that in your conversation about immigration, that the only problem that you have with immigration is the people of color. I don't hear you say that we shouldn't let any more Italians in, we shouldn't let any more Germans in.
First of all, my ancestors were not immigrants. They were pioneers. They built the country. They built the country that the Ellis Islanders came to. There was no country when my ancestors showed up here. First of all, also, every country starts off as a nation of immigrants. Eventually, it decides that they like it the way it is, and they decide to become a nation of natives. The same is true with every European country, every Asian country. Every nation has the right to close its doors, just as you have the right to close and lock the door to your house. Letting anybody in is like leaving the door unlocked. Anybody can come to lunch uninvited at your house. That is what we are doing to the United States of America. Furthermore, you just heard me say, I don't think the United States needs any more people.
Right.
We don't need any more consumption of resources. We don't need any more strip malls.
Who would you let in, Mr. Taylor? The audience would like to know.
I'll tell you who I would let in.
Who would you let in?
There's going to be a big debate within the next few years about South Africans and white Zimbabweans who are being killed and run off their land because they are a small and dwindling white minority in Africa. And the question will come up, should we let them in? Yes, I think we should. I think they are a terribly persecuted minority. The cry will go up, oh no, those wicked racists. Can't let them in. Let them stay there and be shot and dispossessed.
You wouldn't have let Colin Powell's ancestors in, would you? You would not have let Condoleezza Rice's ancestors in.
As I have told you, I think a multiracial society is invariably one of friction and complexity.
So we should build a fence, and we should all stare at each other and be suspicious.
No.
You know, really, this is a very, I mean this as no personal insult. I don't want to get down there. But it's, you know, this is for a man of your education.
That's why I believe these things.
You can't possibly make this. There aren't enough troops to make this happen. Look, you don't have enough uniforms and a large enough constabulary to make this happen.
That is pure silliness. We've got enough troops to go thousands of miles halfway around the world and change a regime way on the other side of the world. We don't have enough troops to guard the Mexican border. That's nonsense. We can do it in a heartbeat if we felt like it.
Sam, just shoot them if they get through, huh?
You wouldn't have to shoot many, would you?
Sam from North Carolina.
They would soon learn.
Hi, Sam.
Hi. Mr. Taylor?
Yes.
You are trying to ignore and neglect the Native American history. You are trying to stop the immigration, the way to the future of this country. That's not going to happen. Life goes on. Go home and read history.
Yes, and relax.
Wait.
And don't be so frightened.
Let me answer. It's precisely because I do read history that I'm opposed to this dispossession of the majority people. Any people that lets itself be displaced and dispossessed by aliens will eventually be shoved aside by others who have sharper elbows and a firmer sense of their own peoplehood.
May I ask you to... Yes, ma'am. You wanted to say, please.
Hi, I'm from Argentina. Mr. Taylor, I would like to ask you, what if we had no immigration, so I wouldn't be able to be here? We have no black people out there, so I wouldn't have been able to meet all the wonderful people I have met ever in my life, to see different cultures, to see how different people act and talk and think. So I would never be able to learn from others, just from the ones that are near me, and just be the same all the time.
Yes.
So that's, I feel it's a question of education rather than being all different. What if you were born tomorrow to be a black person, or somewhere from, I don't know,
I think that
yellowish or whatever?
if you had moved to Brazil, you would have had all the things you've described and even more. I don't want the United States to turn into a Brazil with this minority white class surrounded by large numbers of brown and black people who live in a kind of desperation, while the whites who run the country live behind gated communities in terror. They have armed bodyguards. That is the direction the United States is heading, and I don't want to go that way.
I've been here for just a month, and I must tell you, I'm really delighted. I've been walking all about, going in the underground, and nothing has happened to me.
Here in the city. Here. You went on the subway. Yes.
Well, now wait.
And you're missing it.
Now, isn't that a testimony to the greatness of the United States? She's been here for a whole month and not yet been mugged.
Well.
Amazing.
Did you keep your head down in the back of the cab as you came in from the airport? Did you say...
We didn't take any wrong turns.
Did you say giving women the vote may have been one of the biggest mistakes we've ever made? Did you say that? Says here that
you know, apparently you can't joke about anything anymore.
Oh, that's a joke.
Yeah.
Okay. Michael Levin. You know Michael Levin.
Oh, yes.
And you admire him.
Oh, yes, I do.
Here, he suggested that blacks have a shorter time horizon. He said that we should be permitted to stop young black males driving expensive cars since there was probable cause to believe they were felons. Do you agree with that?
As far as the time horizon, this experiment's been done many times. If you take black children and white children and offer them one lollipop today as opposed to 3 lollipops 3 days from now, more black children want the 1 lollipop today rather than the 3 days from now. That is a well-established fact. That's what he's talking about, the time horizon. That's the desire to have instant gratification now rather than sacrifice for satisfaction later on.
You believe that?
I mean, that's what the data show. I mean, do you disbelieve it? Are the scientists lying?
Peter in Massachusetts writes, if we had a complete white society, there would still be the rich and the poor. There would still be the smart and the dumb. There would still be the good-looking and the ugly. People will always find a reason to hate. It doesn't just have to be race.